The ultimatum, the Grand Assembly Hall of the Galactic Council, had stood for 12,000 years, a monument to diplomatic superiority and civilized discourse. Its crystalline walls had witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the negotiation of treaties that shaped star clusters, and the careful maintenance of order across 700 inhabited systems. Today, those ancient walls would witness something unprecedented, a species that refused to bow. Ambassador Wei Chen of Earth stood in the accused circle, a simple human in a plain black suit, surrounded by the Council's most powerful members. Above him, the hierarch sat on floating platforms arranged in ascending tiers, each position carefully calculated to demonstrate political weight. The Kathak matriarch loomed highest, her chitinous form gleaming under the hall's bioluminescent light. To her left, the Vex Collective's hive mind representative pulsed with coordinated thought. To her right, the ancient sorrow singer of the melodic Imperium hummed frequencies that translated as smugness. Human Ambassador Chen, the matriarch's translator, rendered her clicks and whistles into flat galactic standard. You stand before this council charged with 47 violations of established concordant law. Your species has expanded too rapidly, colonized too aggressively, and developed technologies without proper oversight. You have become problematic. Chen said nothing. He simply adjusted his tie and waited, his expression neutral. The Vex Collective spoke next, thousands of voices harmonizing into one. In the 73 years since Earth joined the galactic community, humanity has established colonies on 140 worlds. The approved expansion rate is 3 worlds per century. You have violated this by a factor of 46. Your military vessels, the Sorrow Singer added, its crystalline body resonating with accusatory tones, exceed recommended tonnage limits. Your weapons development proceeds without council authorization. Your AI research pushes boundaries we established for good reason. You are, as the matriarch stated, problematic. Chen remained silent, but something flickered in his eyes. Not fear, not even concern. If the council had been paying attention, they might have recognized it as amusement. The matriarch leaned forward, her mandibles clicking with satisfaction. Therefore, this council has reached a unanimous decision. Humanity will immediately surrender all military assets to council authority. Your fleets will be decommissioned. Your colonies beyond the first 10 will be placed under council administration. Your homeworld will accept permanent council observers with full veto power over your government's decisions. You have 30 standard days to comply. The silence that followed was absolute. 700 species representatives watched the lone human, expecting shock, outrage, or desperate negotiation. Instead, Chen began to laugh. It started as a quiet chuckle, barely audible. Then it grew, a genuine, deep belly laugh that echoed through the ancient hall. Chen bent forward slightly, one hand on his stomach, tears forming at the corners of his eyes. The sound was incongruous, almost obscene in the solemn chamber. Silence. The matriarch's translator couldn't quite capture her outrage. You dare mock this council? Chen straightened, wiping his eyes. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's just another chuckle escaped. 47 violations. Surrender our fleets. Council observers. He shook his head, grinning. You actually believe you can enforce any of this? The Vex Collective's thousands of voices rose in dissonance. Your arrogance confirms every concern we have raised. Humanity's psychology is incompatible with civilized governance. You respond to authority with contempt. Not contempt, Chen said, his smile never wavering. Amusement. There's a difference. He walked slowly around the accused circle, hands clasped behind his back. See, I've been coming to these council sessions for 5 years now. 5 years of watching you debate, negotiate, and congratulate yourselves on your wisdom. And in all that time, I've learned something important about the Galactic Council. He stopped, looking up at the assembled representatives. You've forgotten what real power looks like. The Sorrow Singer's harmonics shifted to anger. We represent 700 species. We command fleets that number in the millions. Our combined industrial capacity exceeds. You represent bureaucracies, Chen interrupted. You command fleets designed by committee. Your industrial capacity is spread across hundreds of systems, each with their own interests, their own politics, their own petty grudges. He pointed upward at the hierarchs. You're not an empire. You're a homeowners association with delusions of grandeur. The hall erupted. Representatives across hundreds of platforms shouted, buzzed, hummed, and transmitted their outrage. The matriarch hammered her platform's resonance pad, calling for order. "You will show respect," she demanded, "or we will add insult to diplomatic authority to your charges." "Charges?" Chen's laugh returned, sharper now. "You keep using that word. Let me explain something about human law. Charges require the ability to enforce consequences. So let me ask you directly, matriarch. What happens if Earth refuses your ultimatum?" The Kathak matriarch's mandibles spread in what her species considered a threatening display. "Then the Council will implement corrective action, economic sanctions, trade blockades, if necessary, military intervention to protect the greater galactic community." "Military intervention," Chen repeated slowly. "Against Earth, against humanity." He nodded thoughtfully. "How many ships would you send?" The Vex Collective answered. "Sufficient force to ensure compliance. Preliminary analysis suggests a combined fleet of 10,000 warships would provide adequate deterrent." 10,000, Chen said. "From 12 species, I assume. The ones with actual military capability rather than just council votes?" "The composition of any corrective force is not your concern," the matriarch said. "Actually, it is. Because I need to know how many ships to tell Earth they'll be disabling." Chen's smile had vanished now, replaced by something colder. "Let me share some information with you, Council. Information you should have gathered before making threats." He touched his wrist, projecting a hologram into the center of the chamber. "This is the Ross 128 incident from 3 years ago. Remember it? When the Zelar hegemony claimed Ross 128 was in their expansion sphere and sent a fleet to discourage human colonization? The hologram showed a battle, brief and one-sided. 30 Zelar warships engaged 3 human destroyers. Within 18 minutes, all 30 Zelar ships were disabled, their crews unharmed but their vessels completely non-functional. The human ships had taken no damage. The Zelar called it a technological malfunction," Chen continued. "A coincidence that all 30 ships suffered simultaneous system failures. You all accepted that explanation because the alternative was too uncomfortable to consider." He changed the hologram. "This is the Barnard Star trade dispute 2 years ago, when the Quillen Protectorate tried to blockade our colony with 47 ships. Another battle, another impossibly swift conclusion. Sensor malfunctions, the Quillens claimed. All 47 ships just happened to lose targeting, navigation, and weapons control at the exact same moment." Chen switched the hologram again. Gliesa 876 18 months ago. 72 ships. Same result. "Are you noticing a pattern, Council?" The hall had gone quiet again, but this time the silence carried weight. "Here's what you've failed to understand about humanity," Chen said softly. "We don't expand rapidly because we're aggressive. We expand rapidly because we can. We don't develop new technologies without oversight because we're reckless. We develop them because we're good at it. And we don't follow your recommended limits because, and I want you to understand this clearly, we don't need to." The matriarch's translator struggled with her response. You cannot believe humanity can stand against the entire Galactic Council." "I don't believe it," Chen said. "I know it. Because unlike you, I've seen what human military actually looks like. You've seen our merchant marine and our colony defense forces. You've watched us carefully stay within your sightlines. Let you feel superior, let you think you understand us." His expression hardened. "You don't." He began walking toward the exit. "So here's Earth's counteroffer, Council. You have 30 days to start treating humanity as an equal partner, rather than a problematic child. Revise your expansion quotas to reflect reality. Update your technology sharing agreements to be genuinely reciprocal. And most importantly, never ever threaten us again. And if we refuse," the Vex Collective's harmony was strained. Chen stopped at the threshold, looking back over his shoulder. "Then on day 31, you'll discover exactly how problematic humanity can be. Send your 10,000 ships if you want. Send 100,000. Hell, send everything you have." That cold smile returned. "We'll still be here when the dust settles. Will you?" He walked out, leaving 700 species in stunned silence. The matriarch eventually found her voice. "Assemble the corrective fleet. In 30 days, humanity will learn humility." But in the empty accused circle, Chen's laughter seemed to echo still. The revelation day 30 arrived with the cold precision of a countdown. At the edge of Sol system, space twisted and rippled as 12 species' finest warships emerged from FTL. The corrective fleet was magnificent. 10,000 vessels representing the Council's military might. From the massive Cathak dreadnoughts to the swift Quillen interceptors, support ships numbered another 5,000. In total, 15,000 warships entered human space, the largest military force assembled in 3 centuries. Admiral Crescitar of the Cathak fleet commanded from his flagship, the inevitable Consensus. Around him, holographic displays showed the fleet in perfect formation, a wall of steel and energy that stretched across millions of kilometers. Representatives from all 12 participating species monitored their own tactical stations, linked through the Vex Collective's coordination network. All ships report ready. Admiral, his tactical officer announced, no defensive formations detected. No human military presence within scanner range. Crescitar clicked his mandibles thoughtfully. Intelligence had warned that humanity might attempt to hide their forces, but the complete absence was puzzling. Broadcast the compliance demand on all frequencies. Then begin system approach. The message went out, translated into human languages. By authority of the Galactic Council, Earth is ordered to signal immediate surrender and compliance. Failure to respond will result in corrective action against military and industrial targets. You have 1 standard hour. The fleet advanced, maintaining formation. Sol System's outer reaches were quiet. No ships, no defensive satellites, no signs of resistance. They passed Neptune's orbit unopposed. Admiral, the Vex Collective representative pulsed. This is unexpected. Intelligence indicated humans would mount at least token resistance. Perhaps they've chosen wisdom over pride, the Sorrow Singer suggested. Though its harmonics carried uncertainty, they passed Uranus. Still nothing. Jupiter's massive gravity well appeared on sensors, its moons clearly visible. The fleet adjusted course, swinging around the gas giant toward the inner system. Mars orbit clear, sensors reported. No defensive installations detected on Mars' surface. No ships in orbital pattern. Crescitar felt unease creeping into his thoughts. This wasn't surrender, it was absence. Full spectrum scans. Find me those human ships. The fleet's combined sensor arrays swept the system. They found orbital habitats, manufacturing stations, asteroid mining operations, all apparently functional but completely uncrewed. Not abandoned hastily but methodically evacuated. Admiral. His sensor officer's voice carried confusion. Earth. Admiral, Earth is gone. Explain. The planet. It's not there. Moon's in proper orbit, but Earth is. There's nothing where it should be. Every command station's attention locked onto the inner system scans. Luna hung in her orbit pristine and unchanged. But where Earth should have been, the cradle of humanity, home to 11 billion people, was empty space. Then the hologram activated. It materialized in the center of the fleet, visible to every ship simultaneously, a projection large enough that even vessels thousands of kilometers apart could see it clearly. Ambassador Chen stood there, still in his black suit, still wearing that knowing smile. Hello, Council Fleet. His voice transmitted across all channels. I see you've arrived right on time. Very punctual. Very professional. I appreciate that. He gestured around himself. I assume you've noticed Earth isn't home. Before you panic, everyone's fine. 11 billion humans safely relocated. The planet itself? Moved completely. Every living thing, every ocean, every mountain, we took it all. Crescitar's mind reeled. Impossible. No species has planetary relocation technology. Chen's hologram continued as if hearing him. I know what you're thinking. How did we move an entire planet? Where did we take it? How long have we been able to do this? He paused. Those are excellent questions. Here are some answers. Quantum spatial displacement. Somewhere you'll never find it, and we've had the capability for about 30 years. We just hadn't needed to use it until you forced our hand. The Vex Collective's thousands of voices overlapped in chaos. Evacuate! This is a trap! Not a trap, Chen said gently. A demonstration. He raised one hand. You're currently occupying what your sensors tell you is empty space. You're wrong. Every cubic meter within 100,000 kilometers of your fleet is filled with something your scanners can't detect. We call them whisper drones, autonomous defense platforms smaller than your fist, using stealth technology about 40 years ahead of your best stuff. On cue, space around the fleet shimmered. Not dramatically, just a subtle ripple like heat haze. But every ship's sensor suite suddenly registered thousands, millions, of tiny energy signatures appearing from nowhere. The fleet was surrounded, outnumbered 1,000 to 1. Weapons hot, someone shouted across the fleet-wide channel. Engage defensive protocols. I wouldn't, Chen said. Because here's the thing about whisper drones. They're not weapons. They're tools. Specifically, they're incredibly sophisticated hacking tools wrapped in miniaturized antimatter power cores. He snapped his fingers. Every ship in the corrective fleet went dark simultaneously. Lights died. Engines cut. Weapons powered down. Life support switched to emergency batteries. 15,000 warships became 15,000 floating hulls in the span of a heartbeat. Your crews are fine, Chen continued, his voice now the only sound in the silence. Life support will maintain. Emergency power will last about a week. But engines, weapons, FTL drives, communications all locked out. The Whisper drones are currently rewriting your core system's firmware. Nothing permanent, just persuasive. Admiral Kreshitar tried to speak, but his translator was dead. Around him, his crew worked frantically at manual backup systems, achieving nothing. Chen walked slowly through his hologram space, hands behind his back. Let me explain what's happening right now across your fleet. Every ship's computer core is receiving the same message in its base code. Hostile action against Earth is no longer possible. Your ships won't fire on human targets anymore. They won't accept those orders. They've been educated. The hologram paused, and Chen's expression lost all humor. Now let me explain what didn't happen. We didn't destroy your ships, didn't kill your crews, didn't humiliate your warriors. You came here ready for battle, and we could have given you one. But we chose not to. Do you understand why? He leaned forward as if sharing a secret. Because humanity doesn't want to be your enemy. We never did. We wanted to be partners, equals, contributors to something larger than ourselves. But you couldn't see us as anything except a problem to be managed. So we had to teach you a lesson. Behind Chen, another image appeared. Earth, whole and beautiful, orbiting a yellow sun that wasn't Sol. Home is safe. Our people are safe, and they'll stay that way. In a location guarded by technology you won't match for a century. You can't threaten what you can't find. The hologram shifted, showing the Whisper drones dissolving, flying apart like a swarm of metal insects, vanishing back into stealth. In about 30 seconds, your ships will reboot. Everything will work normally again, engines, weapons, all of it. Except for that one little restriction about attacking humans. That stays. Chen smiled again, but it was gentler now. Consider it a safety feature we've installed. For your protection as much as ours. Here's what happens next, he continued. You go home. You tell the Council exactly what happened here. And then humanity and the Council are going to have a very different conversation than the one we had 30 days ago. The hologram shifted one final time, showing not a throne or a weapon, but a conference table with chairs. We're going to negotiate a new treaty. One between equals, no ultimatums, no threats, no supervision, just mutual respect and genuine cooperation. You'll accept this because, he gestured at the disabled fleet, because this is us being gentle, and you really don't want to see what humans look like when we're not. Chen's expression softened, but I want you to understand something, Council. We don't want war. We didn't build all of this. He gestured vaguely at the invisible technology around them. To conquer you. We built it so we'd never have to bow. There's a difference. Go home, he said simply. Think about what you've seen here. And when you're ready to talk to us as partners instead of subjects, we'll be waiting. Earth will even come back to Sol if you promise to play nice. That slight smile returned. We've grown rather fond of this neighborhood. The hologram began to fade. Oh, and one more thing. The Galactic Council? As of now, it's dissolved. Not by force, but by obsolescence. You can keep meeting, keep voting, keep pretending you speak for the galaxy, but everyone out here will know the truth. Chen's image was nearly transparent now. The old order ended today. Welcome to humanity's galaxy. We promise to be more reasonable landlords than you were. The hologram vanished. 30 seconds later, exactly as promised, power flooded back into 15,000 ships. Engines hummed. Lights blazed. Crews stared at their stations in disbelief, running diagnostics that confirmed everything worked perfectly, except for one impossible restriction buried in their core code.